Hello and welcome to this edition of News Today, where we break down the day's top stories with precision and clarity. Without delay, let's explore the headlines first. India has developed its first quantum diamond microchip imager. FSSAI has issued an advisory on the unauthorized commercialization of human milk and its products. Landslides have caused loss of life in Mizoram in the aftermath of Cyclone Raymond. WHO launches its first investment round to finance its Health for All mandate. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, or SEBI, has amended the Infrastructure Investment Trust regulations for 2024. Djibouti has released genetically modified mosquitoes to fight malaria. In our very first news, India is set to embark on a groundbreaking journey with the development of its first quantum diamond microchip imager. This pioneering project will be undertaken by Tata Consultancy Services in partnership with the esteemed Indian Institute of Technology, or IIT Bombay. Significantly, this initiative aligns with India's National Quantum Mission, or NQM, launched in the year 2023 and implemented by the Department of Science and Technology. The NQM aims to position the nation as a global leader in quantum technology, that is, a class of technology that works by utilizing the principles of quantum mechanics, the physics of subatomic particles. If we talk about the quantum diamond microchip imager itself, then this advanced sensing tool will be used for semiconductor chip imaging. It will harness the defects in a diamond structure known as nitrogen vacancy centers to detect anomalies in semiconductor chips. This innovative approach not only reduces chip failures but also improves the energy efficiency of electronic devices, thereby promoting the development of the semiconductor industry in the country. Furthermore, the microchip imager will facilitate the second quantum revolution. This contemporary wave of advancements and breakthroughs in the field of QT, for example, quantum computing, is a successor to first quantum revolution which occurred in the early 20th century. During the first quantum revolution, the discovery of quantum mechanics and its properties enabled groundbreaking inventions such as the laser and transistor. Moving on, let us also talk about the semiconductor chips. These essential components act as the brain of modern electronic devices across industries such as communications, computing, healthcare, and military systems. Crafted from pure elements like silicon or germanium or compounds like gallium arsenide, semiconductor chips play a crucial role in a technology-driven world. With the development of the quantum diamond microchip imager, India is poised to make a significant contribution to the global quantum technology landscape, fostering innovation and driving progress in the semiconductor industry and beyond. In our next news, FSSAI has issued an advisory on the unauthorized commercialization of human milk and its products. The Food Safety and Standards Authority of India made it clear that the commercialization of human milk and its product is not permitted under the Food Safety and Standards Act of 2006. Furthermore, they directed state licensing authorities to refrain from granting licenses for the same. Now let's talk about the importance of human milk. It contains many distinct bioactive molecules that protect against infection and inflammation and contribute to immune maturation, organ development, and healthy microbial colonization. Providing safe donor human milk to newborns is an old tradition that has been practiced across the world for over the last 100 years. Moving on to the national guidelines on lactation management centers in public health facilities, there are a few key points. First, breast milk donation should be voluntary. Second, donation is to be done only at health facilities and not promoted in community settings. However, there are some issues with commercializing the human milk. Firstly, it can lead to the exploitation of low-income women. Selling of breast milk will be risking the health of marginalized women and children while catering to high-income consumers. Secondly, there are concerns about quality and safety, including the risks posed by the transmission of pathogens and chemical residues. Additionally, the commodification of human milk can limit access based on socio-economic status, with the high cost of human milk potentially making it inaccessible to those who need it most. In conclusion, while human milk is extremely beneficial for newborns, its commercialization raises several ethical and practical concerns. The FSSAI's advisory aims to protect the rights and well-being of both donors and the recipients, ensuring that human milk remains a valuable resource accessible to those in need. In our next news, landslides have caused loss of life in Mizoram in the aftermath of Cyclone Raymond. This tragic event highlights the urgent need for building resilience to multi-hazard disasters, especially in areas prone to such calamities. Before delving into the specifics of this incident, let's first understand what landslides are. Defined as the movement of a mass of rock debris or earth down a slope under the direct influence of gravity, landslides are generally classified by the type of movement, that is slides, flows, spreads, topples or falls, and the type of material, that is rock, debris or earth. Landslides can be caused by natural factors such as rainfall, snowmelt, and changes in water levels, stream erosion, earthquakes, and volcanic activity, as well as human activities like agriculture, construction, deforestation, irrigation, and encroachment in vulnerable terrain. Turning our attention to landslide-prone areas in India. The Northwest Himalayas contribute a staggering 66.5% of landslides in the country, followed by the Northeast Himalayas at 18.8% and the Western Ghats at 14.7%. In the Western Ghats region, factors such as laterite exposed along plateau edges and the growth of roots along fracture openings are significant causes of landslides. To address this pressing issue, the Indian government has initiated several initiatives, including the National Landslide Risk Management Strategy 2019, which comprises hazard mapping, monitoring, and early warning systems. Additionally, the National Landslide Susceptibility Mapping Program for landslide-prone area and the Landslide Risk Mitigation Scheme that provides financial support for site-specific landslide mitigation projects respectively. As the cyclone Ramal has tragically demonstrated, the threat of landslides is ever present, and it is crucial that we prioritize building resilience to these multi-hazard disasters. In another news, the World Health Organization launches its first investment round to finance its Health for All mandate. In a significant development from the World Health Organization, it has launched its first investment round at the 77th World Health Assembly. Now let's delve into the details. The World Health Assembly, known as WHA, serves as the decision-making body of the WHO. This year's assembly carries the theme All for Health, Health for All, emphasizing the universal right to healthcare. The concept of health for all traces its roots back to the Alma-Ata Declaration of 1978, which was a pivotal movement in global health where primary health care was prioritized. Now let's move on to the latest initiative announced at the Assembly. The investment round launched by the WHO aims to mobilize resources for its core work over the next 4 years from 2025 to 2028. Health and well-being for everyone, everywhere includes 3 major goals, that is, promote health, provide health, protect health, and supported by Power Health and Perform Health. An impressive $7 billion will be sought to support countries in tackling various health challenges. Let's now examine how the WHO typically secures its funding. WHO's funding primarily comes from 2 sources: assessed contributions and voluntary contributions. Assessed contributions are mandatory dues paid by member countries, and these are a percentage of a country's GDP as agreed by the UN General Assembly and approved every 2 years. On the other hand, voluntary contribution, as the name suggests, come from members and other partners. It is the major source of total funding of WHO. These voluntary contributions are further categorized into various streams, including core voluntary contributions and specified voluntary contributions. Despite these funding mechanisms, the WHO faces several challenges in securing adequate resources. Assessed contributions covering less than 20% of the total budget leave a substantial gap in funding, requiring reliance on voluntary contributions. Moreover, instances like the temporary suspension of funding by the United States highlight the vulnerability of the WHO's financial stability. As the WHO embarks on this investment round, it underscores the critical importance of global collaboration in achieving health equity. In our next news, the Securities and Exchange Board of India has amended the Infrastructure Investment Trust regulations for 2024. It introduced a new provision that allows for the issuance of subordinate units by privately placed InvITs only to the sponsor on acquisition of an infrastructure project. This move aims to bridge the gap between the valuation done by the sponsor as a seller and that by the InvIT as a buyer for an asset. But what exactly are InvITs? They are a type of investment vehicle similar to a mutual fund that allows investors to invest in infrastructure projects such as toll roads, power lines, and pipelines. The sponsors, typically infrastructure companies, set up the InvITs through SEBI and are recognized as borrowers under the SARFAESI Act 2002. The parties involved in an InvIT include its trustee, sponsor, investment manager, and project manager. InvITs earn income through tolls, rents, interest, or dividends from their investments, which is then distributed to the investors as their taxable earnings. This investment vehicle offers several advantages to investors, including a low ticket size, allowing them to invest small amounts. Additionally, InvITs are listed on stock exchanges, providing liquidity and the option to exit at any point. Furthermore, the InvITs promote transparency as investors are informed about where their money is invested. Moreover, these trusts are regulated by SEBI, mitigating risk for investors. However, it's important to note that investing in InvITs is not without its challenges, as they face operational risk, refinancing risk, and return risk, among others. With the introduction of the new norms, SEBI aims to facilitate a smoother acquisition process for infrastructure projects by addressing the valuation discrepancies between sponsors and InvITs. This move is expected to further strengthen the InvIT ecosystem, attracting more investment in the country's infrastructure sector and promoting economic growth. In our next news, Djibouti has released genetically modified mosquitoes to fight malaria. The release is part of the Djibouti-friendly mosquito program to stop the spread of Anopheles stephensi, a mosquito species capable of transmitting both Plasmodium falciparum and P. vivax malaria parasites. It's important to note that only female mosquitoes bite and transmit malaria and other viral diseases. Under this project, friendly non-biting male Anopheles stephensi mosquitoes have been developed, carrying self-limiting genes that kill female offspring before they reach maturity. As by reducing the female mosquito population, spread of the disease can be controlled. Now let's delve into the technology involved in creating these GM mosquitoes. The laboratory method involves mass-producing GM mosquitoes that carry two types of genes: a self-limiting gene that prevents female mosquito offspring from surviving to adulthood. This technology has been successfully used in India. Other type is a fluorescent marker gene that glows under a special red light. Another approach is the gene drives technology, or GDT, that is a type of genetic engineering technique that modifies genes so that they don't follow the typical rules of heredity. GDT increases the likelihood that a particular suite of genes will be passed on to the next generation, allowing the genes to rapidly spread through a population and override natural selection. Key components of GDT include the gene to be spread, the Cas9 enzyme that acts as a molecular scissor capable of cutting DNA, and clustered regulatory interspaced short palindromic repeats, that is a programmed DNA sequence that identifies where the enzyme should cut. Through the use of these cutting-edge technologies, Djibouti is taking a proactive stance in the fight against malaria, a disease that has plagued many regions for centuries. By targeting the root cause, the mosquito population, this innovative approach holds the potential to significantly reduce the burden of this deadly disease. The place in news for today is Spain with its capital Madrid. It is in news as Spain has pledged to provide military support to Ukraine worth €1 billion this year. If we talk about its political features, it is located in the southwestern part of Europe. It shares its land boundaries with Portugal in the west, Andorra and France to its northeast, Gibraltar, the British Overseas Territory, and Morocco to its south. Moreover, it shares its maritime boundaries with the Mediterranean Sea to its east and southeast, Atlantic Ocean to its northwest and southwest, and Bay of Biscay, an inlet of the Atlantic Ocean to its north. Talking about its geographical features, its highest peak is the Teide Peak. Moreover, its major rivers are Tagus, Ebro, etc. And lastly, its climate is usually temperate with clear hot summers in the interior and moderate and cloudy along the coast. As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. The International Labour Organization has released a report for the Asia-Pacific region. Talking about its key highlights, the employment to population ratio improved in the region to 58.2% in 2023 from 57.4% in 2022, mainly due to the growth of employment among Indian women. Banks' fundraising through certificates of deposits rises amid liquidity deficit. Certificate of deposit is a negotiable money market instrument that is issued in dematerialized form or promissory note against fund deposited. A new algal species was discovered in Kerala, Western Ghats. Edocladium sahedricum is an algal species which is dioecious that has the male and female organs in separate and distinct individuals and terrestrial in nature. Central Council for Research in Ayurvedic Sciences has launched Pharma Research in Ayurgyan and Techno Innovation in Pragati 2024. Pragati 2024 offers opportunity for collaborative research between CCRAS and the industry in the field of Ayurveda. Researchers discovered unknown nidoviruses in various vertebrates. Nidoviruses are positive sense ribonucleic acid viruses that infect a broad range of animals including terrestrial and marine mammals, fish, etc. New plant species Stellaria McClintock from Kerala has been named after Barbara McClintock, who won the Nobel Prize for her discovery of jumping genes. Philippines recently revoked biosafety permits for commercial propagation of genetically modified golden rice. Golden rice is designed to handle a specific nutrition issue without any additional cost or difference in taste. A fresh look at 30-year-old radar image captured by Magellan spacecraft suggests the planet Venus may currently be volcanically active. Magellan mission was launched by NASA in 1989. It was the first spacecraft to image the entire surface of Venus. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Knowledge. We appreciate your company. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solution to today's quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description.